Yo, welcome to another episode of Young Black and Vegan. I'm your host, Keith Terrell. Now, today is a special episode. As you can see, I'm not in a restaurant, quite a different setting. This is my last day in LA, and the restaurant that I wanted to shoot at is closed. But the guest was gracious enough to let me come to her home, and she's in the kitchen right now whipping some stuff up. Let me tell you about her. She is in her 70s. She's thriving. You've probably seen her on social media doing push-ups at 72. She is the owner of Stuff I Eat in Eaglewood, California. She's the author of a dessert cookbook. Seen her on podcasts, shows. She has some docuseries coming out. I want to welcome to an episode of Young Black and Vegan, none other than the definition of perseverance, Chef Babette. What we got here?
So basically, some of that tofu chicken out of little red potatoes. Now, when I cook corn on the cob, all I do is just lightly heat it. Because when you bite in this, juice is going to fly everywhere. Mm-hmm. And then I always make sure that I have enough of leafy greens. Because chlorophyll, humans just need chlorophyll.
Right,
I get that.
right.
So that's why we put something live on every plate. We try to give everybody a salad. But you'd be amazed at the number of salads that are thrown in the trash because we don't get it.
Right,
We don't understand the life.
It's a psychological thing I find is like even me, if I'm on set and they bring me a salad, like, I want no salad, but you can make some amazing salads. And like the more you eat them, you realize it's almost like when I go to the beach and it's like, I should do this more often, you know?
It's true,
when you're eating it, wow, why am I not eating more?
First of all, we eat a lot of death. Life begets life, death begets death. Whenever you subject your food to temperatures over 115 degrees Fahrenheit, you kill the live enzymes in that food. Mm-hmm. Most of our food is dead. Most of it's dead, and we're sick. So we always try to share salads, always organic. I try to make really good, healthy. Oh yeah, and that balsamic vinegar has sea moss in it.
Mm-hmm. Now, the salad is amazing. I was waiting for you to finish to find out, is this a recipe we can get for this?
Yeah,
this
that
dressing?
balsamic vinegar, man, I will share some with you. Balsamic vinegar, a small package of blueberries. Now I put sea moss in it just to make it healthier because I like doing sea moss every day. So when I make salad dressing, I try to throw me some sea moss in it. A little squirt of agave and some sea salt and blended it up. When I hooked up with my husband, this is how he made that tofu. Look at that. Mm-hmm. It's got texture to it.
That's crunchy.
So I kept calling it chicken. So nothing on this plate had to really fry but this tofu.
Right.
So I got the pan hot enough, sliced the tofu thin, and put it in there and just let each one of them cook. And I got the extra firm. And I'll put some brags on it. If you don't mind a little liquid smoke, you can marinate it in brags, liquid smoke, some garlic, and a little water, and just leave it in there for about 15 minutes or so, and then cook it.
You talk about the importance of consuming live foods. Mm-hmm. And also I've heard you mention cooking at certain temperatures to make sure that we're getting those enzymes and everything. Can you kind of break that down for me?
Yeah, the main thing is that we're not accustomed to eating food live. Like, really and truly, this corn really didn't have to be boiled. Mm-hmm. We're so accustomed to cooking everything. That's our go-to.
Right.
Is to cook it. That's why I learned to just bring the water to a boil, and I still have some of the life left in my corn. I can make a meal out of walnuts. I can make a meal out of just a handful of nuts. I'm really big into cashews. So like at Stuff I Eat, when I make a dessert, I'm making a dessert out of some avocados, avocado parfaits. It tastes like lemon meringue pie. Yeah. So of course black folks don't eat it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And not to say that the restaurant is just for black folks, but when you come to a black and brown community and you're trying to lay out some food to sell, it better have some taste and some texture.
Right.
Because the one thing about black folks and brown folks, they know how to cook.
Yeah.
If they don't know how to do nothing else,
we can throw down in the kitchen.
We had to.
Yeah.
They gave us trash to eat on the plantation, and we had to figure out what to do with that. So I knew when I came to a black and brown community, Latin people make some of the best food on the planet. It is often mimicked. So many people mimic Mexican food. Mm-hmm. I have burritos, quesadillas, tacos, enchiladas, Because all that I'm selling in the restaurant along with the soul food platter. Knowing how to make things taste good.
Right.
But at the same time, not greasing the food up and killing the texture of the food. We should know how something tastes without it being boiled to death.
Right.
You know what I mean? A potato, you got to have that soft enough for you to be able to chew it.
Right.
I'm not shredding potatoes and eating just plain shredded white potatoes. But I will take the stem of broccoli, shred it, and make a salad out of it. You understand what I'm saying? Most people gonna throw that stem in the trash. That stem is food as far as I'm concerned. If I juice some carrots, I'm gonna make sure that I take that carrot pulp and make something out of it. So I clean the outside of the carrot, juice it, make a carrot and tuna out of the pulp. So realizing that it's not trash because you didn't cook it, it's still food. You just need to know what to do with it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And if you don't know what to do with it, Google. Google. That's the word of the day. So
that was good.
This food is good. We about to finish this, and then we'll come back and finish some conversation. Yes, Chef Babette, we kind of talked about a few things. Do you mind if we kind of go back and talk about the beginning of your journey?
No. Okay, so what you want to know?
So you grew up on the east side of Los Angeles. I also lived on the east side of Los Angeles for a little bit. Yeah, off of Hoover and 108th. But that was super duper young. And then I spent a lot of time off of 69th and Western, so South Central LA.
I do not believe you were on 69th and Western. Guess where I was?
Where?
67th and Cimarron.
Wow.
I lived in that house for so many years. It's crazy. You know the complexion of that community is changing right now. There's a guy that lives now right next door to my old neighbors. He's a surfer.
Wow.
It blew me away.
Yeah.
His garage was open and surfboards hanging up. And
I know the neighborhood was changing years ago when it was 11 at night and I saw a white woman jogging. I said, jogging? You know where you at? So, yeah, it's gentrification is real.
It really is real. But, I grew up on the east side of LA, went to Carver, Jeff, I live right across the street from 20th Street Elementary School. Sick all the time. Standard American diet. I ate so much sugar. I had zits everywhere. I was a real sick little girl. I suffered with the effects of asthma. I don't like to call diseases mine. My asthma, my diabetes. I don't claim that like that.
Right.
But I suffered with the effects of that stuff because of the way I was ingesting food. And my mother was also a cigarette smoker. Lack of knowledge, third grade education. She didn't realize she was killing me. You know what my mother thought the asthma attacks were coming from?
What's that?
Carpet on my floor, the dust in the carpet.
Wow.
But I had 2 cats that made me wheeze.
Yeah.
My mother cigarette smoke, that bothered me. The dairy, ice cream, all that kind of stuff. I ate cereal, loaded with milk and sugar. All that stuff was making me sick.
Right.
But that's why I always say knowledge is power. Once you gift yourself with knowledge, it really makes life, the journey, so much more bearable. Really sick at school, bad earaches, the whole 9 yards, and really did not change my lifestyle. Got into drugs, molested, just really mistreated for my whole childhood. Was crazy because my mother worked 2 and 3 jobs, so I wasn't with her, and she had to leave us with caretakers. Some people just evil and mean. Then you got me and this weird, and went through all of that. Married my childhood sweetheart. He was 2 years older than myself. He got addicted to heroin. When you're on the east side, they dumped all that stuff in the community. After the heroin, it was angel dust.
Right.
After angel dust, it was crack.
Right.
I got caught up in the crack. He got caught up in the heroin and the and the crack. My sister, heroin, crack. So all of that, we don't even have to think about what we were eating.
Right.
We were affected by our environment, if you will, and the cruelness of those in charge that wanted to see melanated people fail. And you know, it's something that we have to talk about, because I don't know why people act like it never happened, act like certain people, you got these presidents and their wife just say no, shut up. Shut up. Because y'all put it in the community. What you talking about, just say no?
Right, 100%.
You know? And I think too much, like you got people in Florida, the governor in Florida, that don't want to talk about the history. You got to talk about this history unless you repeat it. Unless that's what you're thinking about doing, repeating.
Right.
But black folks ain't going back. You'll never be able to do to us what you did before. That's just never going to happen. Once it was the crack, I went through that. And then I finally met my third husband, chemo. And my life did like that. Started leveling out. We got married. He moved my daughter and myself into his apartment. She started going to a private school. I got off all drugs, went to work for the airlines, and my life leveled out. He and I didn't last. As a matter of fact, he's the reason I wound up in the house on 67th Street. He bought my first home for me. Yeah. And when we broke up, he just left everything for me. And then I met my current husband, Rondo, and he's the reason we wound up with the restaurant. But the human experience is so awesome to me. Now, you can stay stuck in the pain of it.
Right.
And not enjoy your moments. Like I consider this my now. Now, I can talk about what I went through back there, but I ain't hanging.
Right.
And I'm not going too far forward either. I kind of like hanging out right here, right now. Because I know this time is guaranteed to me, and I'm in a little bit more control.
Yeah, this is the only time that's guaranteed.
It really is.
I don't know if you're familiar with Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. It's a book, and I mean, it pretty much talks about that. You know, the past is gone. We'll never get that again. Actually, the future never exists, because every time you're in it, it's the present moment. So, yeah. So I want to ask you this. Like, I imagine growing up like that caused a lot of internal turmoil and pressure. And I hear you talk about like taking accountability and responsibility for your happiness.
Yeah, like, hey, baby.
Yeah.
The one thing that I realize is that when we come here as part of the human species, we are coming here to basically express that which created us. We all have amazing gifts, but it's getting through all the other stuff to latch on to the gifts and to begin to express those gifts. And so I just understand that there's absolutely nothing I can do about anything that happened to me years ago but wallow in. And I realize that doesn't get me anywhere. And what I watched people that hang out in a space like that, or either they're angry, or either they're the victim and they're blaming. And the quality of life does not just mean, yes, I can get up and jump up and down. Quality of life is also your mind, your emotional life. And so I choose a good quality of life. That is why when I go down, I can get up at 72. I plan on doing that for as long as I'm here.
Right. And just to be clear, when she's talking about going down, she's knocking out full push-ups.
Yeah, I knocked out 100 for my birthday.
Yeah.
I did 100 for my birthday. But the bottom line is, quality is all of it. Quality is how you love yourself. Quality is self-love and self-care.
Right.
All of that constitutes quality to me.
Yeah. So for somebody out there who perhaps has experienced something like that, been taken advantage of at a young age, and they're holding on to that pain and hurt, and partly rightly so, because you weren't protected when you were younger, but it's kind of preventing them from moving forward and flourishing as much as they could. Like, what advice would you give them?
You know, you don't want to minimize what somebody's been through. That's cruel, I think. You know, the way I deal with my pain is going to be different than the way you deal with your pain. So
Right.
I can only speak to my journey and what I did to feel better about life itself. I believe that this experience, this human journey, is a gift. And the greatest intelligence ever created it. And I'm grateful to it. I believe that everybody I've met, every person, even the rapist that I've come in contact with, has been a guide. You know what I mean? They've been a guide. Now I take that experience, and when a baby came to me and said my stepfather was with a flashlight under my covers at 2:00 in the morning, looking under my covers, I just laid real still. I don't want to lay in that house with him no more. Guess what I did? I said, come live with me.
Wow.
Mama didn't even believe it,
Wow.
but I did. Been there, done that. Come stay with me. You'll be all right. You ain't got to worry about nobody looking at you under your sheets.
Yeah.
So there's a reason. There's the reason that we run into the guides that we run into, and there's a purpose for all of the lessons. Yeah, it was painful then, but I'm not there then. I'm not 5 years old no more.
Right.
And I run my shit now. You know what I mean? I live in this apartment because Ron and I choose to live in different apartments. I'm still married to Ron, but we do it our way now. We're not guided by everybody else and what everybody else thinks.
Right.
I run mine like I feel like running. I had my daughter say to me one time, she goes, but so you always say stay in your now and be in control of your now, but what if somebody is torturing you? What would you think? What would you be saying about your now? I said, that ain't my now. You asking me something that may not ever be an experience for me.
Right. Right.
That has not happened to me. So I'm supposed to answer that question for you? That's not my human experience.
Right.
I can't answer that for you. Ask me what I'm thinking right now. I got that.
What are you thinking right now?
Right now, I'm thinking, he is so cute.
Thank you.
No, but thinking that I'm praying that I'm making some sense for somebody, because your pain is your pain. Like somebody commented the other day, how do you get past all this? How do you feel so inspirational? I just lost my mother 3 months ago. I look at death differently.
Yeah.
Okay, so death hits me different. I believe that when we cease to exist in this human form, you can't destroy energy. We move on. That I don't feel like there's ever been a time that I've not existed. I've always existed. Different forms, learning different lessons. And so that is how I view death. Death is not necessarily the worst time on the planet for me, because one day I will cease to exist in this form. You don't have to be sad for me. I've been gone 3 months and you still can't get through. I don't think your mama would want you blowing off moments concerned about her and her transition. She on doing something else. What about you and your now? What you doing? Worrying about her? You gonna do the same damn thing she doing one day, and you don't know when.
Right.
You never know when.
So take advantage of these moments. And
Exactly.
live.
And don't act like, we act like that person died and left us and we just gonna be here forever and ever without them. We don't, deal with the transition. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think we deal with it properly. I think we cause a lot of pain to ourselves, not understanding that it is a mere transition, and you're here for a length of time. Make the most of it.
Yes.
Raise your level of understanding, your consciousness, and when you zoom back in this, you're better than you were before, and that's kind of how I deal with it.
Yeah.
I ain't tripping.
I'm not tripping.
You ain't tripping either?
Yeah.
I don't trip. No.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, you know, I look at things the same way. We've been through so much in our lives, and I've always had the idea, even as a kid, that I'm experiencing all of this stuff in order to be able to help so many more people and relate to so many more people.
You are God in expression.
Yeah, yeah, and it doesn't take away, obviously, the pain of those moments, but like it could become a prison if you let it.
There you go. That's all I'm talking about. Being imprisoned by it and acting like you too are not one day going to transition.
Right.
And it is not the most horrible thing in the world. My mother still lives, as far as I'm concerned. I am her. Man, so many times I look in the mirror. That chin thing I was telling you about on that one side I'm not wild about.
Yeah.
That's her.
Yeah.
And my sister's gone, and my brother is gone, in their form. But every time I have a thought of them, they live.
Right. When we speak their names, like, you know, I was talking to you off camera about why I continue to do the show. My best friend,
your
Dominique.
friend,
so
right.
I constantly bring his name up during interviews.
He lives.
Yeah, it's just to keep him alive in memory.
There's no way you can get rid of him.
Yeah. No way. No way.
No, we got to act like those people are, you got to stop acting like they are gone.
Yeah.
They'll always be a part of you.
Right.
Always.
Right. And, you know, we got to celebrate the moments that we have with those people, you know? So many
Every
good
time
moments.
you can think of something funny that you did, or when I do something, because my daughter will often say, Mom, that was so old. And she'll tell people, she looks good for 72, but my mama is old. And a lot of times I'm acting just like my mom acted when she was 93.
Right. It's in your DNA.
You know, it's in my DNA, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just love life. Now, that does not to say that there are not times when I ain't cussing somebody out.
Yeah.
Or really, really in somebody's butt. Or for the moment in pain. Or questioning who I am. When somebody says something about you, should you really be pained by that? Or should you have enough knowledge of self that you can be like, well, that person is tripping because that obviously ain't me.
Right.
Most of the time, we buy into what somebody on the outside is saying. But at least I have the knowledge now how to reel that shit back in and be like, boo.
Yeah.
Is that you? No, that ain't me. Well, then let it go.
Yeah.
Leave it be.
Don't take what's not yours.
If it ain't yours, let it go.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing that
Yeah.
for sure. You know, I mean, have no doubt that somebody watching these
Hopefully.
words will spark, you know, something in them.
Hopefully, you want that.
Yeah.
You don't want people just don't blow off your seconds. Man.
Because you're not getting none of them back.
O.C. Smith used to say, and I say this on O.C. used to say, yesterday is a canceled check, and tomorrow is an IOU. All you got is now. What you gonna do?
All you got is now. What you gonna do?
Because guess what? I can be pissed off in the moment and see something stupid on TV and laugh the next moment. I can do that if I choose to do it without even watching anything on TV. What do you choose to think? How do you choose to feel? I'm 100% in control of that. Now you can go back and think about Mom, who was here 3 months ago, who was not feeling well, who physically needed to transition and get out of this broke down form. But now you acting so selfish, you just need her to just stay here like she is, broke down and beat up, but as long as she don't go nowhere, you okay and you can deal with it. You understand?
I do.
Let me go. Free me. This ain't working no more. Why in the hell I got to be flat on my back? I don't want to do that.
Right.
If I can't move, I'm not doing that. I don't want to be here till 100 and can't do nothing.
Yeah.
I will hurt somebody if they made my granddaughter take care of me while I was old. She cannot ever take care of me. She been and brought me some chicken home. Told me to eat it.
Oh, wow.
Be quiet and eat it.
It got you thinking it's tofu, right? Yeah.
Even if I knew it wasn't tofu, she'd just be like, lady, all I have to do is feed you.
Wow. So you are taking care of yourself.
Oh, yes.
You're thriving at
Yes.
72.
Yes.
And
But I'm young. Look at me.
yeah,
Come
you
on now.
72 years young. You know, but it's all, like you said, the food that you eat, aging backwards.
Right.
So I love it. Now, talk about, you had a lot of illnesses growing up.
Ugh.
Did you see all of that go away when you changed to a vegan diet?
Everything,
And how long did it
just,
take?
It felt like overnight.
Wow.
Felt like overnight. All that stuff went away. Every month, there was a time within a 30-day period, my face broke out and swole up, eyes swole up with a rash. Every month. I had rash medicine that I would have the doctor just cortisone, just refill the prescription so I could put it in my face, because every single month I'm going to have a rash.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I had acne terribly.
Oh, you too?
As a kid and even as an adult.
too.
So I used to actually get like shots in my face. The painful things that we go through.
No, when
but
we have control.
Well, when we have control and when we know, because
we
obviously
find out.
I had no idea that it had anything to do with how I was eating. But once I went vegan, it was just the benefits.
Started clearing up.
Right, right. I told the story on a previous episode. Like I knew I needed to change something when the people at Jack in the Box knew my name and my order. No joke. So you know the Jack in the Box right on Van Ness and Slauson? I would eat that every single day. It was the Jumbo Jack, the Oreo cookie shake, curly fries with the barbecue sauce. That was my go-to. And
I
so
know exactly where you were.
the food desert.
Knew your
but
name, huh?
they knew when they knew.
Your name.
Why did they know my name? I didn't have no name tag. It was just. They was like, yo, I see you all the time. What's your name? How your mom do it? Nah, you know what? When the employees ask me about my mom and Jack in the Box, it's like, all right, it's time for me to move on from this place.
Oh my God! But you know what? I had so many zits in my back and stuff. I couldn't wear nothing backless.
Yeah.
And then I started the vegan lifestyle. All that stuff cleared up. The reason I wake up 1:30, 2 o'clock every morning, bathroom run. I use the bathroom probably 3 times before I leave here, and probably 1 more time when I get to work. And it's every single day. There's no pushing. There's no I wish I could. There's no me taking anything. It's my lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, I could ingest more water. I think that's an area that's a bit weak for me, because I'm ingesting so much other stuff. Sometimes I forget water, but the human body needs H2O.
Let me ask you this. Somebody that is looking to transition to a vegan diet, or they're new on their journey, what are some must-haves that they should have in their kitchen that's going to help them?
I think get rid of all your fake stuff. Like I make a cake as stuff I eat. I find cacao powder, cacao butter, and that's how I make a chocolate cake. If I want to make something with red in it, I use beets. If I want something to be a little yellow, I'll use some turmeric. Get away from the fake dyes, preservatives, refined sugar, high fructose corn syrup, and fat. And that hard, healthy fat, avocados and stuff like that, good stuff. But when you're talking about that fat that's going to clog your arteries, remember this. You cannot categorize an artery clog. If you got a clog anywhere, you got a clog everywhere. Either a heart attack, a stroke, and for men, they ding-a-ling ain't going to work no more. So those are your clogged arteries. Find those foods that cause those clogs and stay clear of them, because they ain't your friend. Don't go out and buy up a whole bunch of produce and take it back to the refrigerator and leave it in the little thin plastic bags, and when you finally pull it out, they slimy and a hot mess, and you done wasted all your money, because ain't nobody got money to be wasting like that. Get yourself a book or Google. They got so many vegan recipes that you can Google and make your own. You want some good vegan chili? Key in vegan chili. And then you look at that recipe and make it your own. You want some good vegan spaghetti sauce. And you can buy the same exact products to make vegan chili beans, spaghetti sauce, enchiladas. Some of the same ingredients you can use in making all those. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I always have green onion. I always have red onion. And I always have some kind of bell pepper. Those are staples in my kitchen. I make sure that I sweeten with agave nectar. That was our sweetener of choice. We don't use any refined sugar. Of course, you can use dates, but my palate, I came from sugar. Mm-hmm. So I think I want to taste the sweetness.
Right.
My husband's just the opposite. My palate, I'm too sweet for him.
Yeah.
So we have to reach a happy medium. But go ahead and put your thinking cap on and get yourself some vegan cookbooks. They got tons of them with great recipes. And
we're going to plug yours too.
Oh yeah, well I have a vegan. I can get it.
Yeah, let's get it.
Yeah, okay, let me get it. I just decided to make a dessert cookbook. And it's called Cash In on Cashews.
Cash In on Cashews. So
50 plus desserts using the cashew nut.
So pick this up. This is one of the
Amazon.
one of the vegan cookbooks you can pick up
There
and
you
add
go.
to your library.
That's it. And really some awesome recipes in that book. But that was pretty much what I did. Don't waste your money. Have a plan when you go to the store. Make sure that you buy certain items that you can use in more than one dish. Don't go in there and waste all your money and you never get around to making that one dish and you needed all these weird vegetables and all this high-end everything and then it goes bad before you get to it. Mm-hmm. Start off simple, stupid. I just made us a meal with corn, potatoes, salad, and some tofu. That is a meal, period.
And it took
and
15
quick.
minutes.
There you go. Really, really quick. So don't do too much.
Yeah. So
You know?
Google and get you some cookbooks.
See, you learn quick.
Yeah. So speaking of books, I like to ask guests this as a final question. If your life was a book, what would this current chapter be called?
Wow. She finally grew up.
She finally grew up.
She finally grew up.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love my life right now.
Yeah.
I really do. Sometimes I'm sitting in there. I spend a lot of time with self because this is my first time being in a spot by myself. And sometimes I laugh at me being me, but I like me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty darn cool. And I don't need a lot of that. I just embrace my moments and try to share as much as I possibly can. And to have so much to share is a gift as well.
Yeah.